Sony PlayStation has been around forever, and we're told so much about it all the time, but what aren't we told? Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things Sony doesn't tell you about the PS4. Number 10, TVs and computer monitors are different as far as their color range, and what device you plug your PlayStation 4 into is important. If you plug it into a TV, you really don't need to do anything. Your PS4 is most likely set exactly how it needs to anyway, and usually the automatic setting on the PS4 should be able to detect what kind of color output you need. But sometimes when you put in, let's say, HDMI output to a computer monitor, you might actually not put out the right color output with the automatic setting. You may be putting out limited RGB to a computer monitor, which is a full RGB output. Now, what does that even mean? Well, limited RGB has a color space of 16 to 235, where full RGB is 0 to 255. And that sounds like nonsense, but all TVs use limited and all computer monitors use full. So if you plug in your PS4 to a TV, it looks fine. If you plug it into a computer monitor that it detects, it's fine. But if it doesn't detect it, then you need to switch it to full RGB. Otherwise, your colors are going to be washed out, your blacks are going to be gray, your whites are going to be less white, and so on and so forth. Conversely, if your PS4 is set to full RGB and you plug it into a TV, then it's going to appear overexposed. A lot of area in the white is just going to be invisible, more or less. I mean, it'll be white, but you won't see any detail. And also keep in mind, there are people who prefer the limited RGB spectrum when playing games on their full RGB device. There are people who like not having the blackest black. People, preferences, taste, variety is the spice of life and all that. Number 9, if you share screenshots of PS4, you know that they're JPEGs and a little bit limited. Not necessarily terrible, but they're JPEGs. There's no such thing as a perfect JPEG. That's the point. They're smaller, and that means they have less information. They're compressed. But did you know that you're not stuck with JPEGs? You can actually take screenshots in a PNG, an uncompressed lossless format that looks infinitely better, and no one ever talks about it. I don't know, it's not like Area 51 or anything, but some of us like taking screenshots that aren't crap, honestly. To do so, you go to Settings, go to Sharing and Broadcasts, Screenshot Settings, and you'll find very easily an option marked Image Format. It'll be set to JPEG by default. You click it, and you'll notice that you have the option between JPEG and PNG. Now keep in mind that PNG screenshots are definitely larger, but they're also all of the data. Now if you post it anywhere like Facebook or anything, it's automatically going to be compressed anyway, so this may not be useful for you. But if you're the kind of person I am where you like to keep things and look at them in their most pristine condition, this is important information. Number 8, a small group of small tips. First, you can have your TV turn on with your PS4. Well, if your TV supports it. All you have to do is go to Settings on your PS4, go to System, and enable HDMI device link. If your TV supports it, you can turn the PS4 on with your controller, and the TV will come on with it. However, you will have no control over the volume using your PS4 controller, so don't think you're allowed to just lose your TV remote. Believe me, given some TV shows are so quiet, yeah, you don't want to lose that. Next small tip, you can disable notifications while watching video. Yes, you can actually do that. If you're watching a movie on Amazon or Netflix or whatever, and you get those annoying notifications telling you someone's online, someone's offline, blah blah, and you're like, I'm trying to watch Stranger Things in peace here. Leave me alone. You can actually shut it off. Just go to Settings on your PS4, go to Notifications, and you can disable notifications while watching videos right there. Hey, you're not even stuck just turning off notifications for watching video and all that. You can shut them right all the way off if you want. Like, you can shut notifications off at will. Finally, as far as these small tips go, if you're on the on-screen keyboard and you feel like using a different way to input than the touch screen or the regular plain old D-pad button selection, you can also use gyro input. If you click R3 while you're on the on-screen keyboard, moving the controller around will move the cursor. Now, I'm sure that there are people who can do this very well. I am not one of those people. Number 7, this isn't so much your PS4, but it's something that Sony doesn't really say anything about. When you plug in your PS4 to the TV, if your TV has a game mode, you're gonna want to go ahead and can set it to that. And I'll tell you why. Without game mode, TVs are processing the image. They're adding color effects, they're adding brightness and contrast, they're doing things to the image that is presented on your television. And a TV is not really concerned with lag, latency, anything like that. Because frankly, if you're watching a TV show, you can't tell that the processed image you're watching is actually being presented 200 milliseconds after it's being fed to the television. You're not controlling anything on the screen, so it's just, as long as it looks right, that's basically what matters. But if you're playing a game on a TV that has bad latency over processing the image in some way, that 200 millisecond lag is going to be very noticeable. In fact, the way I learned about this personally was way back with the PS3. I bought a Sonic the Hedgehog game on it, and it played like crap, and I couldn't figure out why. It was actually one of the first games I bought for the PS3 too. I found out that you needed to have game mode on, which shuts off all the effects processing and minimizes latency. Number 6, HDR is a really cool technology that looks good with the right TV. I mean, even some HDR TVs though, the HDR doesn't look great. So you actually can just shut it off. First, you can usually shut it off in the game itself. Go through the game's menu. It's usually under display or screen settings, stuff like that. But if you can't find that, you can just shut HDR off entirely on the PS4 by going to the PS4 settings, sound and screen, video output settings, and you can enable and disable HDR there, as well as deep color, which will also affect the picture in a similar way. Number 5, and this one is awesome. I really like this ability on the PS4, and they talked about this way back in like 2014, I think, and they haven't really talked about it since. It's called Share Play. You can share a game for an hour, at least video of a game. Like, let's say you want to play with voice chat and all that stuff, and somebody wants to watch you, but you're not sitting on the couch together. Instead, you're maybe in different states. Maybe this is what you do on a regular basis and want to emulate it as close as possible while traveling or something. I don't know. You don't need PlayStation Plus for the basic screen share capability. The other player can watch you play. Literally, just you press the share button, you go over to Share Play and invite them, and that's it. They don't need the game. All they need is a PS4. Now, if you have PlayStation Plus on your console, you can actually hand control of the game over to the other person, even if they don't have PS Plus. And if they have PS Plus, you can both play the game as if you're sitting on a couch together as player 1, player 2 on a split screen game or whatever. You can do co-op, or you can play FIFA against each other, whatever. It's actually a really awesome feature, and nobody talks about it really. And yeah, it times out after an hour, but you can just invite them again. It's very simple. Number 4, this one's obviously not Sony's responsibility to tell you about. Let's say you watch a review for a game, as in you watched it here on YouTube. Well, the recommendation algorithm is going to send you a slew of content on that game, and it won't just be reviews. Some of it's going to contain spoilers, and if you don't want spoilers, there's something you can do to avoid having all those recommendations thrown your way. Click the little menu thing at the top left of YouTube, the hamburger thing, I guess they call it. I don't know. Bring the menu down and click history, and click clear history, and that will help avoid the recommendation machine. I know it's annoying that you have to do this, and it kind of messes up your recommendations, but at the same time, the recommendation machine is kind of messed up anyway, so Number 3, here's something I bet you didn't know that Sony's certainly not going to remind you of every 10 minutes. If you bought your PS4 new, it came with a 20% off code. You can use that 20% off in the PSN store at any time. Let's say you didn't throw out the box and never noticed the code. You'd never use that code. You need that code though, because 20% off on a big download order, that's a lot of money. More than $10 on a $60 game. I cannot be bothered with that math though. You can actually call Sony and they will replace the code for you. They will give you a new code. It will void the previous code, but they will give you a new one. And make the assumption that your code expired. They'll still give you a new one. That's great. Very nice. Number 2, credit has to go to this person for even coming up with this idea and testing it at the same time. Reddit user VV33 posted that they bought The Crew 2. Like, obviously, it doesn't matter if you bought The Crew 2. Basically, we're talking about any game. But they bought The Crew 2 at full price, and within a couple of days, it was on sale for $25, which is $35 less than $60 if you can do that math. Like I said, addition, subtraction, I'm fine with it. The division, not so fond of doing dividing. So they called up customer service, and don't think this is gonna happen every single time there's a sale. And also don't think this is that clever to do if you know there's a sale coming. But if you buy something and it goes on sale and you call customer service and you explain to them that you didn't know there was a sale coming, they might give you a code that will make up the difference. They gave VV33 a code to make up the difference, $35 worth of codes specifically, and that is of course great. Obviously, we gameranx cannot say that it's going to work for you every time, and just keeping your eyes out for sales is of course better than spending a bunch of time online with customer service telling them you messed up, but at least there's a chance they'll take care of you. And finally, number one, this is kind of a PSA at like one of the worst things. Actually, if you do something dumb and get yourself banned from PSN, it may lock you out of all of your games. Now, if you own a lot of digital games, that sucks a lot. Probably more than anything, as a matter of fact, especially if you've got like thousands of dollars in digital games. Obviously, if that is the case, it is worth calling up Sony and making a case for yourself. I won't do it again, please. Reactivate my account. I need my games. Now, you can play those games on your PS4 that isn't allowed to use PSN anymore, but if you try to download those games to another PS4, let's say that PS4 breaks, let's say it's not actually your PS4, you're screwed. So obviously that's some incentive not to break the rules on PSN. Like, don't hurl insults at each other, don't cheat. Don't do that stuff, because losing the games is a big consequence. Couple of quick bonuses. You can pretty easily set up two-factor authentication on your PSN account now, which in this age where everything is hacked, and when I say everything is hacked, I mean everything is hacked eventually, having it so that in order to log in, you have to have a code from your phone is a big help. Just do it. Like, if you don't want people in your account, it's annoying, I know, but just do this. And finally, AirPods are actually usable with the PS4. Reddit user You the Evil Twin posted this guide to Reddit, and keep in mind it's a little esoteric. You'll need a PC that you can connect your TV via headphone out to, meaning A, your TV needs headphone out, B, you're going to need a 3.5mm audio jack. You will need to connect that from your TV to your computer. Little roundabout, but cool nonetheless. Leave us a comment if any of this was useful for you, if you have any other ideas, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.